Alright, I'm back. So I don't know if you're back. I'm just going to play music for a second here. We'll just do this real quick. So I have to actually do a bit of setup here. You get to see behind the scenes here, so I have to pop out the chat here. I do that. Oh, that's the wrong one. There we go. I have to do this every time. Okay, there we go. Alright. Okay, so the chat is back online. I can see it. There aren't that many people in here yet, I don't think. Yeah, I see one viewer. So here's what I'll do. So since we're kind of at that time, I'm just going to say let's take the break. But I'm going to make this break 15 minutes just so that people can get established and then actually take their break. So I'm going to type this in the chat. And so we'll go over here. There we go. And I got to clear that. All right. All right. So I'm going to start the timer. I'm going to start the music again. And go ahead and just reconnect, get everything like up and working, and then we'll do a 15-minute break. We'll come back in 15 minutes. Okay. So I'll see you in a bit for that. Okay. It seems to be working now. I was able to, so I also have, like, what you guys see at that moment. But mine fell behind by, like, a minute, and then I realized that, like, I can drag the progress bar all the way to the right, the red bar, and be almost completely caught up. So if you're still behind when you see this, and, like, I don't know, something seems wrong and it seems like you're behind, try doing that. You could also try just hitting refresh or hitting F5 to reload the stream. That could work. If there's any issues, let me know. And we'll try and address it as we get there, or as we run into it. So let's go back to this problem that I would still like you to do, but I feel like I should do it now, and I'll have you do another one in a second here. So, oops. So we're going to do this problem in very much the same manner. We're going to take our 625-pound beast of a bike, and I want to turn it into kilograms is the unit of mass that I want. Now I need to go look up the conversion between kilograms and pounds. And the way that we do that is, well, we just either go to the textbook or you can just go to Google. So I'm going to go to Google once I find the window that has that. So 1 kilogram equals pounds. And so here's what Google says. That's not what Google says. That's live split. There we go. Boop. All right, so that's what Google says for kilograms to pounds. So we're going to record. Oops, I can't do that. Then it goes away if I do that. So 1 kilogram, 2.204 pounds. So I need to make the correct relationship, kind of like what I did up here, which you can't see because it's behind the thing. I have to make the correct relationship, A or B. I don't really need to write it out like that anymore, though, because I know I can just put whichever one on the top and whichever one on the bottom I want to. So if I do my dimensional analysis and I have this unit right here, I just need to make sure the pounds are opposite it so that they cancel out. And then the kilogram would go on the other side. And you still can't see that because I scrolled up too far. There you go. So I set these up so these pounds disappear. They cancel out. Now that I've done that, this is the only unit that's left, this kilogram. So this is going to be the units of our answer. And so now I can run the numbers. So I'm going to just take these numbers and put them where they belong. So 1 kilogram would go there, and 2.204 pounds would go there. And then I'll punch in the calculator. And the number that the calculator spit out was 283.57. 531. We're not going to need that many digits, right? So that's probably enough. And now we check for sig figs. So how many sig figs does this value have? Well, it has 3. This is exact because it's just a 1. This has 4 sig figs. So my answer should have the least of those, and that would be 3. So I get to keep these. And that should be the answer. And lo and behold, totally is. Now you'll notice that my answer on the board, 284, and the answer on the slides, 283, where could that difference come from? Well, it could come from me using a different number off of Google. So if you see 2.20462, I probably should have used 2.205. That would have given me a slightly smaller answer. But those are close enough. If you're within 1 in the last digit, you're fine. So don't worry about that too much if you make minor mistakes. Like, oh, I truncated my numbers. Like, so 283 is the right answer. I probably should have put a 5 right here. Like, this should have been 2.205. But we still did the process correctly, and so that's fine. So I would accept this answer. All right, let me get rid of Google here. We'll go back to here. All right, and so I'm going to give you some problems that I want you to try and convert using calculations. So I have the average mass of an orc, 145 kilograms. I haven't actually gone out and measured many orcs, so I'm just sort of taking this number on, I guess, faith. I don't know. But what I want you to do is I want you to turn that mass from kilograms into grams, and then into milligrams, and then somewhere in there turn it into pounds. And then I want you to turn my distance of 16.1 miles into furlongs, a furlong being an eighth of a mile. Again, we're going to the horse races. And then also in centimeters. Okay? So do these conversions for me, and as you get the answers, type them into the chat so that I know how far along you are. Okay? I'm going to give you a little bit of time to do this because these problems take time. And then we'll go over the answers in about like 6 or so minutes. Yeah. All right, see you in a bit. How are we doing? Let me know in the chat. All right, one more minute and we'll go over the answers here for these problems. Once you have the answers, type them in the chat for me. All right, let's go over the answers here. So let's go over here. And let me clear all of this. We'll start fresh. It's not scrolling very fast. There we go. All right, for this first part, I want to get a mass in grams. So what I need to do is I want to set up my unit so that I can convert kilograms into grams. Those would cancel and leave me with grams. So now that I have the unit set up, now I can do the numbers. So kilo was 10 to the 3. I need to have the kilo part and the 10 to the 3 on the opposite sides of the equality, or else they aren't equal. And then I can just do the math. And then I can check for sig figs, although this started with 3, and both of these are exact. My answer will just have 3, and there's the 3 that I have. All right, now I want to get my answer in pounds, or not pounds, but milligrams. And what I can do is I can either start from the beginning and keep and work from there, or I could just take my answer and keep going, right? So I could do grams to milligrams, and that would give me an answer in milligrams, because these would cancel. Now I can do the numbers, so milli is 10 to the minus 3. And then when I do the math there, I get 1.450000000 milligrams. And that would still be 3 sig figs. Now, that is kind of a long and obnoxious number, so I could just write it like this if I wanted to. You can use scientific notation if you'd like. Totally up to you. All right, let's do the weight part in pounds. So I want pounds for my answer, so we'll go kilograms, pounds. And according to Google, 1 kilogram is 2.205 pounds. I'll do it right this time. And so the number of pounds would be 145 times 2.205. 319.725. But when we do sig figs, I can only have 3 sig figs here. This is 4 sig figs. That one's infinite because it's an exact quantity. So my answer should have 3 sig figs. These 3 specifically. So we need that dot there for 320 so that we have 3 sig figs. So just be mindful of that. 320 dot is the answer. I need to hold a button to do this. So there we go. All right, for the next one, I'm going to go 16.1 miles to work. And I want to figure out this distance in furlongs. So let me set up my units. I know that a mile and a furlong can be related by the equation as shown. So I'm just going to write my units so that the miles cancel out, leaving me with furlongs. And I can just run the numbers. 1 furlong is 0.125 miles. Now it turns out, well, this is 3 sig figs. We knew that. This, it turns out, is exact. But even if it wasn't, and you wrote 3, you'd get the same answer in this case anyway. So 16.1 divided by 0.125, 128.8, which I'm going to round to 129, because that has 3 sig figs. All right, and then finally, what is this distance in centimeters? Well, this is a little bit more involved, isn't it? What the heck? I need to get to centimeters from here? Well, I don't know how many miles there are and how many centimeters. I mean, you could look that up on Google, but that's kind of a weird conversion. Nobody uses centimeters to measure a mile. What we can do is, if I had miles, I could turn miles into, for example, feet, and then I could turn feet into inches, and then inches into centimeters. Now, you could do other ways, too. You could go miles to kilometers into meters, and then turn that into centimeters. Whichever path you take, you'll get the same answer. But what's important is that when we're setting up our units, that the units we don't want cancel out. So I'm going to follow this left path here. So I'm going to go miles to feet, so that those cancel out. And I can look up the relationship between miles and feet. Then I'm going to go feet to inches, and we'll look up the relationship between feet and inches. And then I'm going to go inches to centimeters, and I'll look up the relationship between inches and centimeters. So you don't just have to do dimensional analysis once, or one step at a time. You can do them all together in a chain like this. In fact, you're going to want to, because it will save you space on your paper and time when you're doing the calculation. So let's go to Google and look all these numbers up, because I don't know them off the top of my head. So a mile to feet, 5,280. That one I should probably have known. Oops. Hit the eraser on the pen. In a foot, there are 12 inches. And in an inch, there are 2.540 centimeters. Now, interestingly, these are exact because they're counted. This actually is also exact, which is weird. But an inch is actually defined as 2.540 centimeters for whatever reason. So this is the only one that affects our result, is just the number we started with. And you're going to find that in a lot of cases, the number you start with is what affects your result anyway. So we'll punch it all in. 16.1 times 5280 times 12 times 2.540. And I get 2591043.84 centimeters. But I only want 3 sig figs. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change that to 2590000. Or 2.59 times 10 to the 6 centimeters. That should be 6, right? 2, 4, 6. Yeah. All right. So those are some simple dimensional analysis problems that we can do. And these are going to get a lot harder, obviously. So let's do some more practice problems in the slides. So what I want you to do is, for this next question, we're going to convert meters per second into miles per hour. I'm going to give you like 2 or 3 seconds to try and play with this for a bit, and then I'm going to show you the recommended strategy for solving one of these types of problems. Okay, so start with 750 meters per second, and then try and convert that to miles per hour. You're going to notice that your units are going to end up on both the top and the bottom, and you're going to have to cancel them both. But that's okay. Remember, all you do is put the units opposite of each other to cancel them. So give it a shot, and I'll check with you in about 4 minutes or so. All right, one more minute, and we'll go over the answers. All right, so let's go over this answer. Oops, didn't quite catch that. All right. So I need to determine the velocity of this bullet, 750 meters per second. I'm going to write it like this and do my dimensional analysis in the following way. So I need to get meters per second into miles per hour. So I need to get each of these to change from one to the other. So meters can become kilometers, which can become miles. That's easy enough. And then seconds can become minutes, which can become hours. But how the heck do I do this in my dimensional analysis? Well, let's start with the meters part first, because that's easy. So we can turn meters into kilometers. That's an easy conversion to do. And then we'll turn kilometers into miles. That's also easy. But now if I were to hit equal right here, I would get miles per second. And that's not what I want, right? I don't want that. I want miles per hour. So what I need to do is I need to keep converting. But we're just going to keep the miles. We're not going to touch this anymore. It'll stay. I need to get rid of the seconds. And the way that I do that is, well, I put it on the opposite side of the bar, right? So I'll put it up here. And this will cancel now. So now I can turn seconds into minutes. And then I can turn minutes into hours. Just like that. It seems weird to be putting it on the top, but you could totally do that. And so now, when I hit equal, the units that are left over are miles per hour. Okay, let's do the numbers now. So a kilometer is 1,000 meters. I have to look up this one. I think a mile is 1.609 kilometers, but I'm not sure. So let's see here. 1 mile, 2 kilometers. 1.60934. So that's good enough. There are 60 seconds in a minute. Make sure you don't switch those numbers or else class is over a long time ago. And then there, in 1 hour, there are 60 minutes. So let's do the calculation and go just like the TV show. 750 times 60 times 60 divided by parentheses 1,000 times 1.609 times 1 times 1. Make sure you use parentheses when dividing anything on the bottom. So when you're typing this in your calculator, make sure you're doing this part. Because otherwise what it will do is it will try and just do, okay, I'm going to multiply this number by the next number, then by the next number, and then it sees the division bar, and it divides by the next number, and it takes whatever the result is and multiplies that by the next number, and that's not what you want. So I got this. 1, 6, 7, 8. That's the wrong color, but that's okay. 0, 6, 0, 9. How many sig figs should I have? Well, these are all exact. Except for this one. This is 4. These are exact because they're all counted. And this one is 2. So I should have 2. And there you go. So that is how fast 750 meters per second is in miles per hour. So bullets move very, very quickly down the firing range. Oops, clicked on the wrong thing. There we go. All right, let's use another substance that has a velocity associated with it. So I'm going to give you light. Here's light. I want you to tell me the speed of light in miles per hour if light moves at 3 times 10 to the 8 meters per second. This is the exact same setup that you did in the previous problem. And then I want you to tell me how fast light goes in furlongs per fortnight, where a furlong is 1/8 of a mile, and a fortnight is 14 days. So this is the stupidest unit I've ever heard of, furlongs per fortnight, which is why I ask it. And Google does know what a furlong per fortnight is, so go ahead and do this problem. Do these two problems. Convert the speed of light to those values. We'll go over the answers, and then we'll see where we're at because we're kind of running out of time. So, see you in a bit. How are you doing? Any questions, let me know. One or two more minutes, and we'll go over the answers here. All right, let's go over the answer here. All right, so the miles per hour one, I'm scrolling on the wrong thing. I don't know what I'm doing. There we go. The miles per hour one, we're going to set up in exactly the same way. We're just going to start with a much bigger number. And then, so let's go meters to kilometers, kilometers to miles. So we cancel those out. There's my miles again. So now I got to get rid of seconds. So we'll put seconds up here so it cancels this guy. It makes minutes. And then minutes. Cancels to become hours. Those are the units that are left. So when I hit enter on this, my units will be miles per hour. And now we just have to do the numbers. So a kilometer is 1,000 meters. A mile is 1.609 kilometers. 60 seconds in a minute and 60 minutes in an hour. So I get 3E8 times 60 times 60 divided by parentheses 1,000, 1.60911. Okay. And I get this giant S number. So let's see here. 6.71 times 10 to the 3, 6, 7, 8. I think that's what I got. Yeah. And again, the only thing that is not exact in this is the starting number and then this one right here. Everything else is exact. All right, let's do the next one here. I'll leave that first one on the screen here. So now I want to go to furlongs per fortnight. So if I just take the number that I started with here, I have the wrong end of the pen. That's why I can't find the cursor here. If I take the number that I started with, I would have to do all these steps again. So I'm just going to take the number that we got at the end of this problem that we just did, miles per hour. And I'm going to set up my unit so I can get furlongs and fortnights. So miles is pretty straightforward. I could just go directly to furlongs that way, right? Because there are 0.125 miles per furlong. And then hours. I know how many hours there are in a day, and I know how many days there are in a fortnight. So I can say, well, hours is at the bottom, so we'll cancel it out there. And then we'll cancel out days with fortnight. And if you have a kid or maybe a young adult or you who's playing Fortnite, you know that you can cancel out days with Fortnite, right? I've never played it, but I've been told it's a lot of fun. So now I can just put in all these numbers. So a furlong is an eighth of a mile. There are 24 hours in one day, and there are 14 days in a fortnight. Those are the only units that I have left. And I don't know if FTNT is the official fortnight abbreviation, but we'll just go with that. 6.71 times 10 to the 8 times 1 times 24 times 14 divided by 0.125. And you should get this ginormous number. $1.80 times 10 to the 12. All right, there we go. We did it. So these are the types of problems we're going to be doing. We're out of time for the day. We're going to return on Monday next week because we don't have class on Wednesday, right? Yeah, this is the evening class, so It says it right there. I could just look at the screen. We're going to turn on Monday next week. We're going to finish Unit 3, and then Units 4 and 5 and 6 will fly right by. So, for a little bit after this unit, the units are going to be really, really short. Like, ridiculously short. No quiz number 3 just yet. Or, not quiz number 3. No quiz on Unit 3 just yet. You do have quiz number 1, which is Units 1 and 2. That is due Monday. Make sure you get that done. And then lab worksheet number 1, which is just the observations lab. Make sure you follow the link in the lab documentation to that so that you can watch that video and do the best that you can. That's due on the 20th. So you are going to start turning in things next week. And we're going to just sort of have this steady crescendo of here's some stuff that's due, here's some stuff that's due. Now there's more stuff that's due. Now there's an exam. And it starts to build. And like we're slow at the start, but we get there. And it'll build fast. So, all right, that's all we're gonna do for tonight. I don't really have anything else to say. I would say go outside and enjoy the sun, but the sun is kind of setting, so it's still kind of warm. Catch the last of those rays. Have a wonderful weekend and enjoy the wonderful weather. See you on Monday.